What's up, guys? My name is Phoebe Damaris, and this is the Gub House where everything in my life goes down. I hope that you are loving on yourself, leading yourself, and hanging out with eagles, hanging out with people that lift you up, that don't drag you down, surrounding yourself with people that are encouraging you, and you leave them feeling better about yourself and more encouraged into your destiny. Recently, I was invited to go and speak in an intimate small group setting at another church, and here it is, recorded for you.
You've met you know everyone now,
Yeah.
don't you?
Yeah, no, it's great.
I'm not going to encourage you, I'm just I'm teasing.
I think
Right, how long do I have?
yeah, as long as you like. So,
Okay, cool.
So you've got a topic. So Pete gave
Yeah.
a few topics. I have no idea what.
Yeah, so he gave me 3 questions, and it said choose one, but I just read it as do all 3.
Oh dear.
So I'm going to do all 3, and then I want everyone to talk at the end of each one about if they've experienced the same thing or what they think about that. Okay, so let me just tell you about me. My name is Phoebe. I'll try for you to get to know me quite quickly so that we can just dive in and you understand my heart. So I'm Phoebe. I'm 21. I'm married to a really cool guy named Joe, who's a filmmaker, cinematographer. He is really cool and really good at music and pretty talented, and makes me realise how untalented I am actually. I grew up in a Christian home, and I only grew up in Surrey, and I went to school in Surrey. And then when I was 18, Dad, my dad is called Mark Landver Smith, he said, "Hey Phoebes, we're going to plant a church in Newbury this year." And I was like, what? We're meant to be living here? What's going on? And I got a job. I was working full-time for Bill's Restaurant, which you might have been to in town. And I went into work that day in Surrey and was like, God, my parents are moving. All my brothers, I've got 3 big brothers who are all lovely. I love them now. I didn't when I was a kid. Now I love them. They were like, we're not moving to Newbury. And I was like, oh, I don't know what to do. So I said, God, you need to make this really clear. Give me a good solid reason to go. And that week when I went into work, my boss was like, there's a training manager at the back. So I went to the back and was like, hey, my name's Phoebe. They're like, oh, I'm a training manager. I was like, what does that mean? You're opening a new Bills? They were like, yeah, in Newbury. And I was like, she said, do you want to come? I was like, I want to come. Because my dad is moving there. So that was me. I remember at that moment, I was like, I literally looked up and I knew, I was like, here I go again, I'm looking up. I literally looked up and I was like, okay, this is destiny. Like, this is a God instance. This can't just like happen, basically. So I moved to Newbury, and since then life's been amazing. Got married, seen my spiritual giftings flourish, been put in the deep end of things, learned so much about myself. I'm really adventurous. I do anything crazy. I'll jump off anything. I'll fly off anything. I married a guy who's not like that at all, which is so funny. We had a men's night this week at church, a gliding night, men's gliding. He didn't even go. He's like, I can't even be near it. And all the women are like, when are we going to do it? Where's the women's gliding night? So the first question I'm going to talk about today, I've been asked, what has been the most significant learning in your life? That is the first question I'm going to answer. And I think the most significant learning in my life has been to let go. To let go of something I'm holding on to in order to move on to the next thing. And I think the best way to explain that is Tarzan. The way he grabs onto these huge, large vines. Imagine like huge ones coming down. We grab onto the vine and we swing into the next season of our life, and we grab onto that vine and we let go and we swing into the next season of our life, and we grab that and let go and swing and move forward. And there was this one point in my life where I was absolutely fixed on becoming a midwife. And that was all I could see. And I did exams. I flew to Uganda with 2 urologists to learn all about it and see babies born. I was like, this is amazing creation, Lord, this is my calling. And it was really my plan. It's like, and I know that when you work for the NHS as you're a nurse, you know I was going to go, and then I knew I would be there for the next 5 years, working my way up the band by 4 by 5, you know. And that was what I was set on. And then when I got the place, because it's all kind of, you do the tests and everything until you get the place. And when I got the place, I got a text saying, see you in 3 weeks, you're on to the course, I'll see you in London. And my heart right then just didn't match at all. And I couldn't see Newbury, I couldn't see that I was going to get married, I couldn't see anything. All I could see right there was, why aren't I excited? Why can't I get excited about this? So that whole weekend, I was just so lost because I was so fixed on this one thing, and I was holding onto this vine, and I was like, I have to drop this. I have to drop this, but I can't see the next thing. I think a really nice imagery. You know, God says like I'm a lamp to your feet. I feel like the lamp of the light only goes so far. And it's not like I'm a sun to your feet where you can see everything, but you can only see so far, and then when you go forward, then you see the next thing, when you go forward, then you see the next thing. And I think for me, I spent the whole weekend listening to a song, You Make Me Brave, and I was believing the scriptures, like God is the reason I'm bold, God is the reason I'm confident, God is the reason I'm about these things. And on the Monday I quit the place. And that was the day that other doors started to open. And I think that is the moment that some of us all have. And I want to ask if you guys have ever been in that position in a minute. That you grab onto the vine, and I'm swung, and I've caught this midwifery thing, and I'm holding onto it, and I'm like, I have to fully let this go if I'm going to swing into the next thing. But you can't see anything. You literally can't see anything. And you have to fully let it go. Like you can't like with a vine like that, you can't half hold onto it, can you? You have to let it go to move into the next thing. Psalm 139, you make me brave and you make me strong. There's a really nice song I think you guys look up. It's called I'd lean not on my own understanding. My life is in the hands of the maker of heaven. It's really nice. It's like, I lean not on my own understanding. And it's Proverbs. I always looked it up. It is Proverbs as well. Proverbs is like the book of the Bible that is just full of wise words. So if
Proverbs
you want to be
3,
wise.
5 and 6.
Yeah. That is a great song, so you should definitely go and look up that. And that for me it wasn't in my control. We live a life full of being in our control. These are my goals. It's about me doing things that you know. And God is the God of miracles. God is the God of supernatural. God is the God of out of time, out of our place. And that for me is the biggest learning, is to let go. Is there anyone else who's experienced this?
I'm hanging on the vine at the moment, wanting to let go and can't.
Okay.
So that's brilliant, the way you explain that.
Yeah.
You get it now.
Yeah, it's hard.
Yeah.
Those 3 days felt like 3 years.
Yeah. I had that. I was in a prayer group with Liesl and Carrie. I don't even know Carrie Gregory. And I was a teacher and just really struggling with my teaching and having young kids and feeling they always got the worst of me because I was just always a bit stressed with teaching and just praying, God, if I'm not a teacher, what else can I be? And I just really couldn't see what else I could be or do if I wasn't a teacher. And in the end, I just thought, I need to let go. I think we just sort of decided, didn't we? I needed to hand my notice in.
Yeah, we prayed.
Oh, wow. We decided together I was going to hand my notice in, and I handed my notice in without another job to go to, without anything else. And it was like the next Sunday in church. That's when the coins job was advertised.
I love that straight away.
And it was just like, wow. And this is just, I've been round peg, round hole, and it's just suited me perfectly. So yeah. Amazing. So that was definite. But it wasn't letting go of something I loved teaching. I loved the actual teaching of the kids. But it was the whole package. It was they kept changing things and it was just they were about to change the whole. And you're part time, but you're just not nearly as I wasn't nearly as part time as I wanted to be. And,
I see. Yeah.
And you just have to keep going off and relearning things. Every new minister they change how you do exams. How you do.
Okay.
And it was something else about to come in. I just thought I can't hack it. I just don't want to do it.
Yeah.
So anyway, God had the.
That is hard. Yeah, when you can't see.
Yeah.
I think when I sort of makes me think of about first Oliver's my little 3.
Yeah.
And I think so for the first 2 weeks, my lovely husband was off on paternity leave, and then my mum came up for a few days to help look after Ollie, and then she said, you know what, Jess, I'll come next week if you want, and I said, I've got to learn to do it by myself. And it was a bit like dropping, when you drop the vine and be like, it would be much easier for you to just come up for the next 6-8 weeks, like 1 year, because you make it much easier. But I've got to do this by myself.
Yeah, that's big.
And then actually I learned after a few months not to be proud and just be like, you know what, come up because it's nice to have you here rather than because I feel like I need you. It's just nice to have people to help me. So I think I'm being probably less proud with my second now. Like, please come and take Oliver away. Please. Well, I was heavily pregnant with her. I was like, please come and take Oliver away. I need to rest.
It's interesting for me. At work today, this ties in with something we worked at. A line manager, she's just been on a training course and had to do you know what it is, it's a questionnaire about learning styles. And she'd done it, and then she thought it would be interesting if we did it. We didn't have to do it, but she handed it out to us. And fill it in quickly. And it turns out, and it tells you your 4 different areas of learning. So you either, you've got different strengths. Activist, you know these, what are they? Activist?
Activist or pragmatist, you are a reflector, or you are a theorist.
Theorist, okay. So, and I don't like doing these things, so I think actually I just am who I am, and God made me this way. So.
I don't need to be self-aware.
I mean, I'm really, really low on activist, and really high on pragmatist and theorist and sticking to things.
Yep.
And once we've done it, there's 6 of us in a little team. It dawned on me I've kind of known this all along, but I've never really put 2 and 2 together. But wait a minute, I know how this works. For years, I've been there for 17 years, and the others in the team have been there for 20 years, 15 years, so we're a long-term team. Dawned on me that a lot of the work that I do in software development has started with, it starts with Adam, he starts writing, and he's an activist, let's do this, and then he gets bored, passes it to Amanda, who does a bit more, she gets bored, and passes it to Ewan, doesn't get finished, because he gets put into something else, and then it lands up with me. And I land up completing everything. That's just how it is.
Okay.
And Amanda said, yeah, that's absolutely you. She says she knows if she gives me the job to do, it will get done, and I will do the documentation, and it'll all be perfect and so on. So I'm completely the other end of the scale. I'm the guy who hangs on, and hangs on and hangs on until the job is completely finished, and the vine is withering. Something gnawing away.
Just threads.
So, but it is, I suppose, my personality type.
But that team can't be without you, though.
Well, this is it. The whole thing is about teams.
Yeah.
And you
That
need
you-
in
they
teams,
need
you
you.
need
You need
activists who start things,
Yeah.
and you need guys who finish
Yeah,
things.
you need them all.
But I'm sitting listening to you, and I'm thinking it'll be funny next week when we get together for home group if we've all chucked in our jobs. We're all
I've let go of the vine.
Well, we'll have you back.
If we're seeing that kind of fruit, then this needs to be daily.
But it ties in with how with something that kind of came to light today. About
happened today.
How I think and do things. And I know that's not a spiritual thing, but it is. But it relates to spiritual things for me as well.
Definitely.
To things that you know and not stepping out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like the fact that you said that you had this goal and you were going for it, and then when you got that place, you didn't have the feeling, and the fact that you were aware of that.
Yeah.
Took that step to not do that. I think that's amazing.
That gut feeling,
very brave. To recognise it, and still it's not going to be easy, but you still
definitely.
You kind of what to do.
Like head and heart, definitely. Yeah. I think be encouraged if you are a Christian that the Holy Spirit lives inside of you, and every day you can listen and be in tune. We're always doing this with each other, but it's a lot about this, and I think that moment would have been the Holy Spirit like just changing something inside of me, and me being like, whoa, this is a new feeling. Or, when God is stirring something in you, you feel different, don't you? Cool. Does anyone else want to add anything? Ben, do you want to say anything?
You're about to grab hold of a whole new vine, aren't you?
Yeah. You are ready. You are let go. You are ready to go to the next. Okay, the next question was, in your opinion, what are some of the things Jesus would like to see us doing in Newbury, or Jesus would like to see us happening in Newbury? And I would say to go below surface level relationships. Something I've learned since moving to Newbury is that relationships take time. And 3 years in, I'd say now I have friends, and it took a while. It really takes a while to make friends. But something crazy happened 4 weeks ago. I made a new friend, and they just told me everything about them and their life and their dreams and their designs and everything they struggle with and their marriage. And straight away, I really feel like I know them. And I'm like, wow, I wish every relationship could get this deep, this quick. And Jesus models it so well with the disciples, doesn't he? He had 12 guys around us. I mean, I don't know if I could say I have 12 solid friends, but he's a great model of a guy that just had people around him and had the right people around him. So I would say God would want us to go below the surface. John says, love each other in the same way I loved you. So that is literally Jesus saying to how am I loving my friends? The way Jesus loved us. Extravagantly, fiercely, go below the surface. I know everything about you, and I would encourage you, who are your friends? And something I say a lot is show me your 5 best friends, and I'll show you where you are in 5 years. And who are the 5 people that you could call, or that you can call and say, remind me who I am, remind me that I'm awesome, remind me that God loves me, remind me that I'm called to a good life, because I think we all need friends like that to go below the surface. One area that this really helps me is the worship team. I lead the worship team at my church with my husband Joe, and this one person I've really got to know now, this one girl on my worship team, and everything in the worship team works better because I really know her. And I find so much, we just do the administration, we just like get the roster done, as long as we're all there, get everything done, sort out the administration of things. But something that's really helped is I really see this girl and I see what she needs. I know the desires, I know that I need to be encouraging in this area, I know I need to be a cheerleader in this area for her. And because we're on a deep level, I can really understand her better. And I think we're surrounded all the time by surface level relationships, when you're at a restaurant or with people at work, everything is just hits a level where we don't go any further, or we don't mention anymore, do we? And something that's quite shocking if you are new to church is like, wow, everyone's really honest, or everyone's really good at serving. And you forget, especially because I've grown up in a Christian family, I either find you grow up in a Christian family and everything's really modelled to you, and then you have to actually choose God for yourself, or you don't grow up in a Christian family and you become a Christian and everything's amazing and you want to tell the whole world about it, but you're from a family that isn't like an encouraging, facilitating family. And I would say my friendships in areas where we're also working together have got better because it goes below the surface. And Jesus ate with everybody and he talked with everybody, and I want to be like that. I want to be someone that eats with people. And so when we have a worship team meeting, we eat first, or we have a barbecue, because I want to make sure I'm doing life for everyone. I want to know how people stay well. I want to know how everyone's doing. And I definitely think that takes time. So I pray for everybody. I pray for everybody here that your relationships are going well with people around you, and that you do have people you can call in Newbury as well as people abroad. I know that some people have family like everywhere, don't you? So sometimes those people aren't, around the corner, and that can be hard. Like, I don't have any siblings here, and one of them's in Toronto, so the time differences, and I don't have any grandparents, so I've never had that kind of relationship. But the ones that God puts us in a season for, I know this is a weird picture, but sometimes I feel my life is a scaffolding and I'm a building. And God puts scaffolding, and scaffolding are people that come into my life for a season, and then I'm made better because of it, and then they go on, and then God puts scaffolding onto me, and that is a new person just coming into my life for a season, and they love me and they build me up, and then they need to go on. Or when I went to Uganda, you meet people there who are amazing and they build you up, and then you don't see them anymore, but they really helped you at that time in your life. So does anyone have anything they want to say about going below the surface, or if they've seen more fruit in their lives about going below the surface, or if they really struggle to talk about God, or if they really struggle to talk about anything apart from mediocre things and the weather with their friends, or if you need an umbrella or something like that. Does anyone want to say anything?
But I think this group grew very deep very quickly.
Yeah, this is a nice bond here.
And I think it's because we made ourselves vulnerable when we spoke about deep things quite early on. When we did.
That's good.
What's it called?
Jesus the Game Changer.
Jesus the Game Changer. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So I think that's definitely happened. Yeah.
And Pete is very good, isn't he, at being honest about.
Yeah, he does.
He's a very senior manager. He's very honest about.
That's good. I like that. Very open, not hard your sleeve. Open sometimes. Yeah.
She goes leave rolling her eyes. I'm sort of the newest addition to the group. I
Okay.
joined sort of October time.
Nice.
Everyone was just so welcoming. I felt apart very, very quickly. Yeah, very special bond. And because I think I came in and everyone's just very honest and you don't feel like you have to be a good Christian.
Yeah.
It's just about being a Christian and helping each other and building each other.
I think you've made a good point there about because it was already modelled and because you were already doing it as a group. Ephesians talks about God's purpose in the church is to use the church to display its rich variety, and it's almost like if you came in and you were ready to be honest and no one else was, it would be really hard. But because you've created a nice culture here where everyone is honest, it really quickly helps other people to be, doesn't it? Like, when there's more than one person in a room ready to be honest about things, it encourages everyone else, like, oh, okay, we're going here, that's, you know, I want to live like that. Definitely.
But I think it also helps to have a smaller group where you can really...
Yeah, like small groups where it's...
We have prayer time at the end, but it's... Obviously there's a lot of us, but I mean, as I say, Lisa and I, and there's actually our prayer triplet is now 5 or even 6 of us. But it's very often not all of us there, but we can, that is a place where we can be really honest and really pray for each other's needs, and that's really helpful to have. And accountability as well, doesn't it? Encouraging each other to read the Bible and you know, just that kind of thing. So.
Yeah, you need people on your back like that.
I think you're sort of talking about accountability when you're talking about kind of needing friends like these. You also need friends that tell you when you're being an idiot. Don't you?
Definitely.
Your friends are there to build you up, but they're also there to say you're not being you, or. You know.
I have one of those today.
Yeah.
Very welcome.
What happened?
I've been an idiot. I've just been grumpy, but yeah.
It wasn't me, I didn't say
Yeah, iron sharpens iron, definitely. Need people like that too.
I found it really hard when I moved to Newbury because I moved following a tragedy in my family, and I just needed to get away, and I kind of shut myself off from people, and I had my second child at the time, and I think I was just really just in a really bad place for a long time, and then I moved. And I found Newbury, I think it's because it's South England, I don't mean to offend anyone who's from, but people aren't that friendly, they're not that open, and I'm from Ireland where people are, you can talk to anyone, you don't have to be their best friend, but you can talk and be quite honest and open, and it's just really, I find that really nice. And then I moved, and I think too, probably, I had an air of need, but you know the way when you're lonely, you put that out there, but anyway, so I joined loads of clubs, but it's interesting because I've all this, I do have a lot of surface nice friendships where, how are you, and there's a lot of that as a parent at school gates, and I'm sure you know in clubs, because you see each other so briefly, and it's so kind of fake, and you come away feeling quite empty. But I found with Foundations is a Bible study group on a Tuesday, and I'm a leader in that. It's the St. Nick's group. It's lovely, and here there's such reality, and we really
keeps you grounded.
Yeah, because I don't have any, like, my family are non-believers, my husband's a non-believer, and I don't have close friends. Like, just I've got friends now here that are Christian, but I don't have friends from, you know, my life really who were. So it's just and I just think the Tuesdays and the Thursdays really keep me connected. Yeah. So they keep it real, and also going to church on Sunday. But because none of my family do that, you know, it's just.
I like the way you talk about how when you're in Ireland, everyone's really friendly, and then you notice when it's not. And I think when you realise how deep relationships can go and how honest you can be with people and how much people can help you, then when you have when I met my sister-in-law for the first time, I was like, wow, we're going to be friends. Like, she just went in, told me her life, and we've got on so well since. So then when I meet other people, I'm like, within half an hour, I'm like, I can really tell how rich that relationship is with someone because you're with the opposite. So you had that great experience, that you know how good it is.
And I just want to say, not everyone, like, there's loads of lovely friendly.
I do find that Newbury is very,
It's just that I think people, it's such a busy area. People move more. I don't want to offend anyone.
Also, Newbury is affluent, so there are affluent people in Newbury, and a lot of times I think we get so caught up in feed the hungry, feed the homeless, feed this. But actually we are, English and South African, and actually lots, but we are middle class people, and we're called to speak to those people who are middle class. And although they don't always come to church at first, I find growing up it was always the kids on the sides, or the kids or people who are like, I don't have anyone to turn to, that come to church. And it's the people who are affluent who think they're fine. But actually, they need Jesus just as much as anyone else, don't they? They're just busy. They don't feel like they need it yet. Wow, thanks. Anyone else want to say anything else? Even if it's not related, or is it just a question?
I'm not so sure. I haven't taken offence to anything you said, because I'm not originally from Newbury. But I think a lot of what is seen as unfriendliness, and I see that myself sometimes, is actually just more people being quite reserved. Coming from South Africa, and you'll know this as well. When we first arrived in the UK, so this is like 20-something years ago, we were living on Dartmoor at a Christian outdoor centre.
All right, cool.
And we were in a bungalow right next to another Christian couple. And Tony said to us the one day, he said, "I'll never come over to your house, without asking permission first, or without being invited over."
Yeah.
I'll never just but this is a guy I worked with all day, and his front door was 10 metres from my front door. We shared a driveway, and he said, "I'll never come round, unless you've invited me." And it was the strangest thing.
Yeah,
but it was kind of just a reserved Britishness.
It is definitely cultural.
And keep a bit of distance, and it's respecting each other's space and so on.
Miss
I think
so much.
Sorry?
Miss out on so much.
Well, yeah. I found when we were renovating this house and previously one down the road, the number of neighbours I've got to know because I was out in front of the house building something or breaking something.
Or breaking something.
Sorry? Or burn something down. But yeah, it's astonishing, and still today, if I'm doing something on the front of the house, I will land up talking to 10 or 15 people who are coming past who actually we know each other's faces or have spoken in the past. So it's about making opportunities, I think.
Yeah.
And when we were sitting in the church earlier, I was going to pray, and I didn't. They picked up again towards the end of their prayer time, just about boldness in speaking to people, because we were talking about reaching out to people.
That was in the prayer tonight, actually.
It was in that second prayer. It's written all about being bold. About boldness, if I was praying anything tonight, it's about boldness to speak to people, but also discernment. So doing it in a way where you're not in somebody's face, and just getting on people's nerves or upsetting them or whatever. But there's this balancing, there's this juggling act. You've got a personality that just attracts people. I've seen you with people. You just get on with people. That's just Phoebe, and it's great.
Yep.
And you can step in and speak to people very easily, but that comes through with your personality. And
Thank you.
To pray for. Pray for all of them.
Yeah.
So, but some of us are more reserved in how we speak to people.
I think a really good point you talked about was discernment there. I saw this amazing illustration. It wasn't amazing, but it was very simple and effective. This guy was preaching, and he got 3 people on the stage. So he was a South African guy, and he stood one guy here, and then one guy here and one guy there. So for the person on the left and in front of you and slightly to the right. Okay, Peter, who's listening online, and. It was really interesting because he said so much we can get concerned with seeing that person, going to that person there, and seeing the person on the right and going to that person there, and missing the person in the middle. And the discernment is whether you have a personality like mine or a personality not, or whoever you are, you stay in your lane and you will bump into the right people. Oh my word. If you stay in your lane, you will bump into the right people in your life, and you don't have to worry about trying to reach the right thing, because God is like, you just walk. And you're walking with me, and you will fall into the right places, and things will happen as God incidences, and I will be there with you. I think that's encouraging, that you don't have to juggle. Like, God just calls us to walk, and you reach people that I can't reach, and I reach people you can't reach, and you reach people that you can't reach, but you reach people no one else in this room can't reach, and we might be the only Jesus that someone sees ever.
Yeah.
Great point.
I did get that. I was just checking.
Yeah, there's that scary white cat from across the road. That wasn't it. Stay in your lane. Great. Before we finish, I'm just going to tell you about the book I'm reading, because the last question is, if you had one last message to share, what would it be? So I was like, I better talk about what God's doing with me right now. I feel like every month I learn something about God, or I learn something new about myself, or I become more self-aware in an area. I've been married for a year now. I think the thing I've learnt the most is self-awareness and selflessness, because I'm married to someone who's very selfless, and I've learnt so much about that. Anyway, the point is, God is teaching us things all the time, and I think we should never stop. And I love reading books. I wish I could pause time every morning and just have silence, because it is hard to make time to read. So this book is called Own the Moment. It's very Phoebe, isn't it? Own the moment, live your best life.
Did you write it?
No, I will write a book one day. By Carl Lentz. So Carl Lentz, everyone is from different denominations. This guy's Hillsong. And everyone has their own opinions on Hillsong, but I've been to Hillsong in Australia, to the main centre where it all happens, and the women's conference, and it's great.
It's a church, yeah?
Yeah, so it's like a denomination of churches. So they mainly have churches in huge cities, and that is their model, is that they just go to big cities.
And they do big church.
They do big church, big worship, and everything is very structured. But they have some amazing speakers who really just are sold out for the Lord. So this guy runs Hillsong in New York City. So if you're ever in New York, I would say go to the church. Whenever I'm abroad, I always try and go to the church there. It's insane when you're doing it in a different language, or in Afrikaans, or in Trinidad, or in India, anywhere I've been is amazing. So this chapter I've been reading at the moment is called Your Security is Your Serenity. So your security is your peace. And I'm just going to read to you a couple of pages, and then we'll finish, and then you can go home, at least you know you've read a bit of a book tonight, you know? Hey? Yeah? Okay, you ready? So just sit back, and if you need the toilet, just walk around. So this is called Your Security is Your Serenity. At some point, we all have to take a really long look at where our security comes from. Insecurity has been the ultimate root of so many breakdowns, from relationships to dreams to taking giant steps of faith, letting go of the vine, that it should be listed among the world's most deadly things. I think the security journey is one that nobody will ever fully master or conquer this side of eternity. However, I do believe that there is something to be said for those of us who are not willing to settle for best at shaky security system. Surely there is a better option for us in this life than finding our worth, finding our value, spending years trying to find our status, trying to find things, titles and popularity. I believe we're in just a culture that literally promotes concepts and thinking around this subject. And the sad truth is, insecurity is really obvious. We might as well handle it because everyone else can see it anyway. Insecurity is really loud. Security gives you the peace to not perform, to not promote. It's the guy smiling in the back of the room, listening to the other guy talk about how great his office is, who probably owns the building the guy's office is in. Insecurity keeps you talking because you're afraid of what the silence might actually expose. If you're really good at something, it will just naturally show. Truly secure people thrive in the shadows because they know their time is going to come. At some point, we have to rest in who we are and let our efficiency just do the talking. If you're great, you don't have to tell everybody you're great. You will just prove that, and your character will outline everything and do the talking. You don't have to top every story and conversation and make sure everybody knows you. But you can happily and readily cheer for others when they win without finding ways to discredit what you did. True security can make you a phenomenal cheerleader. Security breeds and produces more security. Because I'm a Christian, this guy in the book, and me personally, I believe my journey to security should be far more progressive than other people who are uncertain about where they came from, why they're here, or if there is God at all. Not only do I believe in God, I believe God created me. Jesus saved me. His hands continue to guide me regardless of my performance and what I do, because I know what I am first. I have zero excuse for functioning out of an insecure position. Amen, that's good. Still, I believe there are big challenges we can overcome. If you can't take big risks, if you can't step out into new things freely, you can't give away what you quickly and readily have because you're not certain if you'll get any more. This is true security because I can give away my best ideas because I know where to find more. I will encourage everybody I see because I myself am encouraged and know who I am. I will highlight and celebrate others.
Amen.
Great, thank you everybody.
Thank you. That's lovely.